What's up, my beautiful people? Exile451 here with another daily dose of Reddit Hope and Happy, and today we're going into r/AskReddit, where potential job candidates take pride in roughing up their coworkers. So, let's get to it. Okay, so the question was, hiring managers of Reddit, what's the most strange or cringe-worthy thing a potential candidate has said or done during the interview? Okay, I need to add to this one. I'm an IT director. I was hiring an entry-level person. I had this one guy come in fresh out of a correctional institution. He was around 6'6", 250 pounds, ripped muscle-wise, half-sleeve tattoos on both arms, and we talked for a little while. He wasn't a very technical person, but he was one of the better ones in the batch. What I mean by that is he was very personable and friendly, and this was a desktop support position. I thought to myself, well, he was honest, he got popped for possession, showed me a coin that he has been going to meetings and is sober now, and even offered to have me talk with his sponsor. We can teach him the easy tech stuff. I then asked him a few situational questions. This is where, it stumbled. Me. So you are at a user's desk, and they are getting really frustrated that you haven't solved an issue that takes you normally 10 minutes in the 90 seconds you have been there. How do you handle the irate user? Him. I tell the user, please be patient, and I'm working on it. Me. After 3 minutes, the user says, will you please get someone competent here? I have real work to do. He's actually starting to get visibly ruffled at this point. Him. I tell him it shouldn't be long, and I'm still working on it. Me. Why are you still working on it? Just click a few buttons and be done. Call someone up that can actually fix this, now. Him. I tell the user to go screw themselves, and if there is a freaking issue, I'll beat the crap out of them with their own chair, because they need to understand freaking respect for people. I didn't hire him. I really wanted to have my own IT pitbull, but the next candidate was actually perfect for the job. Man, that belongs in Tales from Tech Support, frick. Oh. He had fighting skills listed. We move boxes. Dude was built and offered his services anytime, even if we didn't hire him. That's, reassuring. Me. Tell me about your strengths and areas for improvement. Her. Pretty good. Me. And your areas for improvement? Her. Not really. What? She vomited on the desk, then tried to continue the interview like nothing had happened. Edit, I'm not the hiring manager, wasn't even there when it happened. What the crap? How do you pretend like nothing happened after that? I mean, I hate throwing up. It always leaves that terrible bile acrid taste in the back of my mouth, and it's like so difficult to talk after that, and just, how do you go on without even getting a drink or anything? I mean, frick. That's just insane. My first management job in IT. It was around 2001 or so. Hiring a general Windows/Solaris sysadmin. One guy comes in with a huge backpack. Do the interview. He's clearly on the spectrum, but I like him. Okay, pretty smart, functional. As he's leaving, I casually ask, what's in your bag? He then explains to me that it's mostly O'Reilly books that he brings to all his interviews so he can prove people wrong if he needs to. I mean, I'm not going to wade into politics here because I don't do that, but you just roll with it unless it's just so absolutely egregious that you don't even want to work there anyway if that's what your boss actually thinks. This guy showed up to his interview wearing pigtails, chunky club kid shoes, a kilt, striped tights, and a shirt that said the F word on it in big block letters. I passed him on to my boss to interview. A girl stopped me mid-question, she even put her hand up, to ask my star sign, then the star sign of my significant other. She then asked me to describe our relationship. Wait. What? What is this, a bar or a job interview? I mean, my gosh. I would have just been like, thanks, don't call us, we'll call you. Okay. A little less ridiculous, but equally as astounding. I had a girl that applied for an entry-level position as an account executive stop me in the middle of the description of the job to tell me it sounded like it involved too many numbers. When I said yes, it does involve math, she said that our website sucked and our social media wasn't cool enough and that we should hire her to manage those things. She then asked me if the interview was really going to take 2 hours because she only fed the meter for 30 minutes. I told her she was free to go. Ooh. I mean, I know I've made some mistakes in job interviews before, nothing that bad. When asked about experience with source control software, the guy we interviewed said, "I've actually written a song about it." And before we could stop him, he started singing it. Asked a candidate about previous job experience, working for a company that made and sold prosthetic limbs. "Oh, I was so passionate about it. I just loved it so much that I wanted to run out in the street and cut people's arms and legs off just so they could experience our product." What? I don't have words for that. I mean, hurrah for your enthusiasm. The thing is, though, despite that level of enthusiasm, the product was probably so expensive, it literally cost them an arm and a leg. Yeah, I know, probably bad taste. Still, though. When asked about strengths and weaknesses, the candidate replied, "I crave KFC and often get myself a bargain bucket." I just didn't know what to say next, let alone whether they considered it a strength or a weakness. Gosh, I would love to be a hiring manager just for some of these stories. What is a skill you wish you possessed? I've never been that great at karaoke. Legitimately had someone put medieval reenactments under qualifications for an IT role. Hey, depending on what kind of tech you're running with, I mean, some of those things might be medieval. Heck, when I was still in news radio, we were running computers that still had XP on them. In 2019. Windows XP in 2019. Me, can you tell me about the gap in 2010 to 2012? Them, I took time out to work on myself. Me, okay, so can you tell me why you left your last position? Them, I was asked to leave and I have to disclose this, I embezzled from them. Me, so did you work on yourself in prison between 2010 and 2012? Them, I don't think that's important. Now I Google people every single time before I interview them. No, I don't think the fact I might have been in prison for embezzling from the company is important at all. Pfft, you're overreacting. It's not that big a deal. I just wanted to work on myself. Dude. I mean, yeah, that's a tough situation to recover from, but that's the absolute wrong way to take it. I interview at least 5 potential caregivers a week to work with seniors that have dementia. We don't ask the typical job interview questions. We ask them a series of common scenarios that they will encounter and see how they react/respond. One of the questions is, what would you do if you walk into a client's room and they start screaming at you to get out? The correct answer is some variation of leave for a few minutes and come back with a big smile on your face, and usually they will be happy to see you. One caregiver said she would bear hug the client into submission because she doesn't tolerate any disrespect. When I tried telling her that's the opposite of what you should do, she replied, "No, I would stick with the bear hug." Gee, I wonder how that interview went. At my previous job, I was interviewing candidates for a position within my team. One of the applicants was internal, so I knew of her and knew she had a few cats as pets. So the day of the interview arrives, in she comes, and we start with the basics. I then ask a few competency-based questions, and she starts to give answers not based on her work experience. She had trained overseas teams and had an impressive CV, but relating the answers back to her cats. For example, I asked, "Can you give me an example of your leadership skills?" I kid you not, her answer was along the lines of, "Well, I have 2 cats, and around feeding time, I need to make sure cat 1 gets fed first, as cat 2 has a weight problem and will try to eat cat 1's food. I need to ensure I lead by making sure cat 2 is kept well away from cat 1 until he's finished his food." She then showed me pictures of the cats in question. Don't get me wrong, they were some mighty fine beasts. Cat 2 was a super fat old one. And I have a pet cat, but I was a bit surprised. I did get some decent answers from her on occasion, but it was a very surreal interview. She didn't get the job. So I gotta admit, cats is a new one on me. I've heard about people using experience of like leading guilds in WoW or Old Republic or Warhammer Online or anything like that to show leadership skills, and there's a legitimate argument to be made there. Cats is something else entirely. Because you can't lead a cat to do anything. All you can do is isolate them at feeding time in this case. Still. Received a resume titled Zach's Anal Resume.doc. It wasn't anal enough. Spelling errors, punctuation problems, and not one reference to anal. Why would you title it that? From the other side of the table, I was interviewing for a tech writing position at an engineering company. The first part of the interview with the communications manager went really well, and she brought me in to speak with the head of engineering. He asked me lots of questions about organizing documentation and where what sections would go and why. At one point, he starts asking about cars. He then wanted me to write a list of all the different parts of a car, and after completion of my list, separate them into sections, something like safety, use, maintenance, etc. So I start listing parts, and he keeps telling me to keep adding to it. Eventually, I've filled the whole page, and he keeps telling me to continue. I maybe know slightly more about cars than the average 20-something woman, but am by no means a car aficionado. This job has nothing to do with cars. I am confused. I have no idea what this list is missing. Eventually, I tell him so. He looks me dead in the eyes and explains that I forgot to list wheels. My very extensive list of car parts has no wheels. Certain that I've bombed the interview for this very obvious and stupid oversight anyways, I replied, "It's a hovercraft." I got the job. TLDR, sometimes being a sassy idiot gets you hired. Boss later told me that she liked me the whole interview, but the hovercraft comment was what cemented her decision to hire me. You know, props to you, that is really turning a situation around. I interviewed a 30-year-old guy who had gotten all his previous jobs through connections. It was his first job interview ever. Although he turned out to be the sweetest, nicest, gentlest person you could imagine, he looked like an axe-murdering, serial rapist, kidnapper, sex-fiend, motorcycle gang member psychopath. The dude was genuinely scary looking. He was super quiet, super shy, and was so nervous about this interview that he was sweating like crazy. Overall, he wasn't making a good impression. He said in the interview, "I know I look scary, and I'm really shy, so people think I'm a psycho, but it's not like I'm some criminal. I'm just a nice guy." He then realized that he said the F word while admitting that people were scared of him. He then said, "I imagine this isn't going very well." I ended up hiring him, and he was the best worker and one of the nicest people I've ever known in my life. Candidate: when I was at the University of Ohio, your resume says you went to the University of Tennessee. Candidate: wait, which resume do you have? Oh my gosh. Dude. Keep your stories straight. I mean, this is one of the reasons you always take your own resume into a job interview, so that they have a copy and you have a copy. I am a hiring manager. The best I've ever come across is, "So, I can see you have a 16-year gap in your employment history. What did you do during that time?" Mainly just walked my dog. Vacant stares all around. That is a long walk. That might even be a longer walk than the 2 IRS guys that are supposed to be coming to arrest me for tax fraud charges that I apparently committed back in 2015, and that I was supposed to pay back the IRS with iTunes gift cards. At least that's what the guy with the very heavy Indian accent told me on the phone. Regardless, I'm still waiting for them. This might beat that though. I interviewed a leprechaun once. He was a short, somewhat overweight guy that was of Irish descent, had red hair and a beard, and he chose to wear, of all things, a green suit to the interview. It was hard to keep a straight face, especially when my interviewing partner mentioned a rainbow table, cryptography, and said our code was gold standard, and lamented the construction going on at the Cloverleaf exit right near the office. That's funny. Had a girl, fresh grad, interviewing for a position as an editor at a defense research nonprofit. I'm just looking for a paycheck while I focus on my real passion, blogging about pro wrestling. Wow. Yeah, no, that's, I don't know how you could get much worse than that. When I worked in a grocery co-op, I had some interesting interviews. One really sticks out in my mind. Me, why do you want to work with our company? Him, because you guys don't drug test? Me, we do random drug testing. What makes you think we don't? Him, this is a co-op. You guys sell weed. Why would you drug test? That's hypocritical. That's how we found out that the receiver on the loading dock was selling drugs out the side door. Oh. Yeah. There's more funny and uplifting AskReddit videos at the link on the left, or if you want to see what YouTube thinks might be best for you, go ahead and hit that link on the right. Now you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside if you're supposed to. I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.